I am going to give you the real secret to controlling your teammates, and here is exactly how you do it. Well, sort of. You don't literally control their keyboards and their decisions, but you can influence them with yours. And before you click away and get upset because you have this image in your mind of being able to tell your teammates what to do and shot call your way to victory, let me remind you that your greatest chance of climbing is not your teammates, it is you. I know what I'm talking about, and I guarantee you I will make you climb the ranked ladder. It is my passion to teach others and see them succeed, and I've got a great track record of doing so. With all of that out of the way, let us get started. Marvel Rivals is a counterintuitive game, and because of that, people will pick up bad habits that make relearning the game even more difficult. It is to the point where often people think of the game backwards. This is what we need to tackle first, so that way we're all on the same page about what our goal is. We have to go over 3 fundamentals: resources, corners, and space. Do not skip this, even if you think you already know it. Marvel Rivals is a game built on these fundamentals, and without perfect execution on them, you can't execute more advanced concepts. This is why players are often hard stuck. Don't worry, I will make this quick. Resources are quite literally your entire kit, from your health to your abilities to your ammo. All of these resources add up to a certain value that you can provide for yourself and for your team. So when you execute a play and make a move, you want to make sure that you have the maximum amount of resources available to you. This will give you the highest chance of making an impactful play. So if we want to maintain our resources without being forced to use them, then we need to use our next fundamental: corners. And this is for one simple reason. We are looking to be in control of the situation. So if we peek around our corner and see that the enemy have more resources, then we can fall back to safety. And if we see a mistake that we want to punish, then we can choose to execute it and act out on it. That is why corners give us control. Also, since it is a third-person game, we don't even need to jiggle peek. We can just safely sit behind the wall and gather information. Lastly, this is the most important concept in Marvel Rivals: space. Space is fundamentally simple to understand, yet lays the way for all the advanced concepts. Space is the area you walk between. That's it. If someone is holding your spawn door, you then have to shoot at them or push them away so you can walk there. So the space that we can walk in is dictated by where the enemy is positioning. Now I can finally explain how Marvel Rivals works. A team that has more resources will have more space. Therefore, they will win the game because it's an objective-based game. This is crucial to understand, and it's probably a connection that a lot of you have made before. Maybe you're a new player and you haven't had that connection because the game honestly doesn't do a good job of teaching us this. There are 4 rules we will be talking about today. Rule 1 and 2 are the most used. They are the major rules that dictate your decision making at all times. Rule 3 and Rule 4 are dependent on the flow state of the game. Starting off, Rule 1 is a rule that you will use when you have control of the map, and therefore the objective. This means that the enemy team is forced to come through an open space and their pathing is predictable, so that way they can get to the objective. To quickly explain a little bit about open space is a space where you are not protected by corners or natural cover. Thus, it is very bad to be in. You will need to position yourself in a place that gives you a lot of control, so that way when the enemy team makes a mistake, you're ready to commit to making your advantageous play. How aggressively we position ourselves is highly dependent on our role and specifics of how our character works. But I'm confident that you have a good idea already of that, and if you don't, you can ask others in the comments. A very successful and easy strategy to do following this rule is to play your advantageous position. Use the corner to try to use your poking tools without committing any big resources of your own. You want to try to make the enemy team use theirs, and they continue to be out of position. You can then pounce with your resource advantage. Be careful not to overextend yourself and move too far away from your own safe corner. You will not be able to make it back to safety in time then. Just remember that if you leave a corner, you are entering into open space. For Rule 2, you are the one that needs to take the objective, meaning that you do not have control of the map, and therefore you are at a natural disadvantage state. The goal is to move across the open spaces from corner to corner, inching your way closer. You want to be as close as possible to the enemy team, so that way when they misstep or overstep away from their own corner or make a mistake, you are ready to punish them. You can often do this by using open lanes on the map. What I think will help a lot of you is when you're executing these rules is to know that it is okay to sit in a very good position. Because if somebody's not making a mistake, well, they're just not. And when they do, you need to be ready. It is not something that you can just brute force outside of some strategies that I'll teach you in future videos. The reality is, even in one above all lobbies, you do not need to force mistakes or force fights. Say it with me, you do not have to force fights. Somebody will make a mistake and you're there. You are ready. If no one's out of position, why go out of position yourself? It is a lose-lose situation. You play to punish other players. I think this rule is not only the hardest one, but it's the cause of all of our bad habits. Breaking this rule is why there is endless low-quality play across both the ranked ladder and the pro scene. This leads me to rule number 3. Rule 3 is a rule where if the enemy team is regrouping, they are down a lot of resources. This means there's a window of opportunity where they cannot take space because they are so weak. Because they are so weak, you are granted an opportunity to use one of your cooldowns during this window, and you will get your cooldown back before they threaten to push you or kill you. You've essentially gotten away with a free cooldown. Now, whether you're a veteran or a new player, I would really recommend for you to live by rule 1 and 2 when you're trying to repurpose your thought process. The reason is, if you get a better understanding of them, you'll know the windows of opportunities where you can execute Rule 3. If you rush it or try to combine them all at once, you'll struggle a lot with learning anything, at least efficiently. I want you to improve as fast as possible, so just focus on one rule at a time, mainly 1 and 2. The last rule, I think, is something that a lot of people need to hear, because if you remember, space is dictated by resources. Let's say you lose a teammate. This means that you are down crucial resources and you cannot overwhelm the enemy team or punish them out of position anymore. It is out of your control. It was a teammate that died. It's going to happen, but you have the ability to recognize when it is absolutely unwinnable. And by doing that, you can fall back to an earlier position. You can retreat to your previous safe corner, which will then reset the distance again, which resets rules 1 and rule 2. It forces the enemy team to come through open space to you again. The earlier and sooner you can recognize this, the higher chance you have at punishing the enemy that is out of position and therefore carrying the game again. If this makes sense to you, then great, you've got it down. If it doesn't, don't worry about it yet. But just know we shouldn't hold our ground no matter what. Again, this is something I'll go over in future videos that I'm really excited to make. Now let me answer something that I brought up in the beginning. How does this influence your teammates? Your teammates will not be following these rules. In fact, they'll be wasting all of their cooldowns. They will blindly push into open space like it is nothing, but so will the enemy team. And that is the secret to making your bad teammates play good. If you can punish these enemies that are in bad spots because you've retained your resources, you will force them back. You will reduce their resources. You'll reduce their power and ability to punish your bad teammates. So supports, stop healing your teammates and start punishing the enemies that are out of position. It will do a lot more in the long run. The best part is, this is just one of the many ways that good players can control the game. And honestly, a very common byproduct of smurfing. So many people see someone smurfing and say, I don't get teammates like that. So why is that? We all get the same teammates. The reason is because the enemy team is getting stomped so hard that they make our teammates look good. Before any kill even pops up on the kill feed, the enemy team is drained of resources, making them weak. Even your bad teammates can kill people who are resourceless and weak. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe. Leave a like on it because it does help me out. Plenty more educational content to come. I will see you guys next time.